Welcome to the epic tale of rebuilding Manchester United, a club that has known triumphs and hardships, glory and adversity. It's time to revive the sleeping giants and guide them back to their rightful place among football's elite. That's right guys, welcome back, and it's the first time in ages that we've done a rebuild on this channel. I'm really looking forward to this. Now, you saw how successful the Doctor Strange tactic by GYR. Yes, I've got his name right this time. It's not Gur, it's GYR. So mate, if you're watching, thanks for dropping me that message so I can get that right for you, buddy. But yeah, you saw how good that tactic was in our tactic test earlier in the week. And the link is at the top of the video now if you want to see the results we got. But we're going to try and rebuild Manchester United with it. Now, what we're going to do is 5 seasons to see how far we can take them. We will give you full breakdowns at the end of every season of how we did, and on the eve of the season, so literally the night before our first game, we will show you who we've sold and who we've brought in every transfer window. That is summer and winter windows. So without further ado, let's get on with it and jump right in. Let's have a quick look at what we're doing first. So obviously Man United are a massive club. Now as well, if you haven't used this skin before, it is the Musterman skin, and as you can see, it is gorgeous. Honestly, it's such a lovely skin. Please go and download it because the guy is a legend. So current season, there we are expected to qualify for the Europa League, reach the last stage of the FA Cup, last stages of the Europa League, and be competitive in the Carabao Cup. Now for Manchester United, they're pretty low targets. Year 3, so the way if we look at the top one here, obviously next season they want us in the Champions League, but the 3s are your big changes, so there are targets here, which again is why, going back to the skin, why I really like the Musterman skin, because it allows me to focus on a 5-year plan and build to year 3 and year 5 rather than having to build season on season. So year 3, we want to be challenging for the Premier League title and getting to the knockout stages of the Champions League. And year 5 is the latter stages of the Champions League while developing the best youth system in the country. In terms of youth, that isn't our target. We want to be getting trophies, Premier League, Champions League, all of the above in the cabinet in the next 5 years. So I'm going to crack on with the first transfer window, and we will show you exactly what we've done and who we've brought in on the eve of our first game. So let's get on with it. All right, and so we are back on the eve, well, the morning of the season. We are in the process of signing one player. We've had quite a quiet transfer window since we took over, really. So Harry Maguire, we offered him out to Wolves on loan with an option to buy. He rejected it. Same with Fred. Garnacho, he's got a couple of loan offers coming in. In terms of players coming in, it's just Jorge de Arrascaeta from Flamengo in Brazil. So he's there to add a bit of competition just behind the strikers. So it's certainly going to bolster that midfield, which can occasionally be disappointing. In terms of the tactics, I said at the start of the video, it is the Doctor Strange tactic. Fernandes is our only attacking midfielder, so we'll be able to rotate with him. It's going to be really interesting how this whole tactic kind of plays out, and we're certainly going to be enjoying this season to find out how we get on. So we'll now crack on till January. Right at the end of the January transfer window, we'll come back. We'll see if we brought anybody in January, if anybody left. Obviously, contracts are up. We might look for some pre-contracts to bring in as well for next season. And we'll go from there with it. So let's see how we got on in the first half of the season. Right then, so season 1, it's in the books. And honestly, I don't think it could have gone much better than it actually did. Let's have a look. So we won the Premier League. We actually won it on the final day of the season as well by a point. Liverpool come in second. Brentford overachieving massively, as well as Leicester and Leeds 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. We actually came runners up in the Europa League. We lost to Napoli in the final as well. A little bit disappointing. But let's have a look at that Premier League table. It's not a bad, when you look at it, we lost 8 games and we only drew 2. So if we can narrow down those 8 games, we'll really push it. Marcus Rashford, 18 goals. And considering our top scorer had 18 goals, to win the league, it's a big achievement. Assists, Fernandes, Shaw and Eriksen leading the way. And De Gea was second with 19 clean sheets. If we go to the entire team, Rashford, top scorer with 26. Anthony, 21. Fernandes, 20. Varane got 15 goals, which is really impressive from centre-back. So, that bodes well for next season. In terms of what we've got to spend then this year, we have £98 million transfer budget and around about 800,000 on the wage budget. So we've got a decent wedge. So what we're going to do is we're going to see who's available to be signed, who we can bring in, where we need to strengthen the team, and then we'll have a look ahead to next season where we aim to retain the league, try and get a domestic cup in the bag, and look to push on in the Champions League and try and get another trophy in the cabinet. But what a start to this rebuild. Absolutely amazing. Premier League ticked off. Man United back on top. Something that, I didn't think would happen first season. But hey, let's see how we got on over the summer and see who we brought in and who left the club. All right then, so here we are on the eve of our second season. Now we start in the Community Shield against Manchester City at Wembley Stadium. And then we've got quite an interesting opening few games, I think. Winnable games. Blackburn, Leicester, Brighton, Tottenham, Chelsea, all winnable games. Up until the 30th of September, which I would say is then the first game I would expect us to maybe struggle in, which is Liverpool. Massively overpowered on this year's game, but we'll see what happens. In terms of the players we've brought in, then let's have a look at the team. So we've brought in Kefren Turam, Andre Onana, Jude Bellingham, and Dusan Vlahovic. Excuse me, I'll put my teeth in. Dusan Vlahovic. So really happy with the deals we've done. Players have left. De Gea's left on a free. We've still got Jadon Sancho, although he is wanted by Fulham on loan. I'm not entirely sure that's going to ever kind of come to fruition. Harry Maguire is still at the club. We can't get rid of the fridge. Slabhead is still there. But we have a really, really strong team going into this season. In terms of what the club actually wants us to achieve then, it's to reach the knockout stage of the Champions League, qualify for the Champions League as well in the league. And then year 3 is to work towards challenging for the title. And we're not expected to win the Premier League till year 5. However, we've already won it once. We finished runners-up in the Europa League. I don't want us to step back from that. I really expect us to kind of go on and win the Premier League again and perform really well in the Champions League. So we've got a better squad, better depth. We've spent the money well. Let's see how we get on in Season 2. Remember, we're using the same tactics and we let our assistant manager do it. So it'll be interesting to see what we do come the end of the season. There is absolutely, by the way, zero talk on this game of a takeover. Absolutely nothing is, kind of being there to... You saw it there. I mean, this is the ironic, how sums up the Glazers. We asked for funds to sign a player and they said no. They just don't want to spend. But they did give us a lot of money to spend, in fairness. So, let's see how we get on in this season, and hopefully we can capture more silverware to build on going into Season 3. All right, then, let's have a look how we got on in season number 2. Now, league standing was poor. We slipped off the boil a little bit, only getting 70 points, finishing 4th. Crystal Palace breaking into that top 4 as well with a 3rd place finish. Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham in 5th, 6th and 7th. And getting relegated from the Premier League this year, Blackburn, Norwich and Preston. So the 3 teams that came up got relegated. But at the start of the season, I said I wanted a domestic trophy. We got the FA Cup. So, that's a good thing. We got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, got knocked out by Real Madrid. So we had a tough draw there. In terms of our squad, if we look at where the goals came from, they were shared around as well. So Rashford 31, Anthony 24, Fernandes 21, Vlahovic got 17, Bellingham got 14. Pretty good. And the assists again, Fernandes, Eriksen, both over 20 assists. And then you got Vlahovic, Bellingham and Rashford bringing up the next 3 spots. Looking at the data hub, this tactic, you can see just where it excels. Goals per game, non-expected penalty goals were massive. We weren't as good defensively this season, and I think that is where this summer I'm going to have to work on. We need some new defenders. Shots per game we were up. So attacking is great. It's our defence we need to work on, and that is what I'm going to spend the summer doing. So let's see who I can bring in. How much money have the board given us? Let's have a look. 38 million, not a lot of money. We're going to have to sell some players, I think. We are massively... Oh, we haven't had the prize money yet, though, so that will obviously affect it. So hopefully the board will increase that, because we're not going to get much in for that. And we will see how we get on the eve of Season 3. So in news that many have actually expected to come out of Manchester United, I think, for a while. We are close to administration. I don't know how that's happened. We've only spent what the board have given us. So that is the state of Manchester United's financial situation. This could make the next 3 seasons incredibly difficult. But £974 million of debt. Wow, we are close to £1 billion in debt. This could force the Glazers to sell during this rebuild, which would change everything. They have just provided a little bit of a cash injection of £21 million. They've done that twice within 5 minutes, which is interesting. We also, I think, have a new sponsorship deal. We've announced a new official North American partnership with a major financial services. The 1-year partnership is worth $8.5 million. I mean, it doesn't touch the sides, really. Wow. Okay, so this has made this summer incredibly difficult. Keep an eye out for more updates throughout this rebuild on that, if there is more. But yeah, could administration be on the cards during our rebuild? Who knows? All right, then. So we are right on the cusp of season number 3. Now, the threat of administration seems to have alleviated once we got all kind of the sponsorship money in, as we got nearly £300 million of sponsorship money in, and that seems to have disappeared, but it'll probably raise its head next season, so we'll find out next summer. In terms of pre-season, we had a really good pre-season, and we start against Liverpool in the Community Shield. Transfers in and out, so transfers in first. We look back to last season, we signed, let's have a look, because we signed him at the end of last season. We signed Jurriën Timber, really, really happy with him, £33 million, really good signing. And we signed Dayot Upamecano for his release clause at Bayern Munich, which was £62 million. So really happy with those 2 deals. In terms of, they really strengthen our defence as well. In terms of players going out, Harry Maguire has just rejected a contract at Al Shahab. We have sold Anthony. Anthony left for £78 million in total to PSG. So big money came in there, which is good. It promises to be an interesting season. Obviously, we're halfway through. In terms of what the board are expecting us to see, or to at least do this year, is reach the latter stage of the UEFA Champions League and qualify for it in the league. So again, it's similar to how it always is. They're still looking at us for year 4, so in 4 years' time to win the Premier League. We want to be winning it here. We've got we've got 1, 2, 3, and that's it. We're 5-season rebuilds, so we need to be winning the Champions League and the league again before we finish in the next 3 seasons, including this one. So let's see how we get on, and then, yeah, we'll take it from there. Let's see how we get on in season number 3. All right, then, so we've got another season in the bag. Let's have a look how we did. We're halfway through this rebuild, and after starting up here, we are somewhere down here. Now, there's a couple of big issues to resolve. Firstly, the club is in the process of being sold, which is interesting. If we get a big backer, a massive backer for the last 2 seasons, my God, our transfer budget could be huge. We need something because we have plateaued. We've gone from Premier League champions to 4th and 3rd place finishes. Obviously, we're only 5 points behind Liverpool this season, which is pretty good. But we did get knocked out in the round of 16 of the Champions League, and we lost in the final of the FA Cup to Leicester. So pretty frustrating. If we look at the data hub again, it's very similar to last year's. Lots of, quite a big difference between goals per game and non-expected penalty goals per game over the league, but we're conceding too many. So defensively is really where we need to shore up. That is what we're going to look at this summer. We brought in an owner, and obviously he's not performed. He actually conceded, I think it was 81 goals this season. Let's have a look. Yeah, 61 games and 81 conceded. That is shocking. So we will be looking to replace Andre Onana. He didn't work, and unfortunately, that's just the way of the world. But we'll see. We're waiting to see what kind of transfer budget we get. So let's have a look. I'll get pre-season done now, and then we will show you who we brought and who we sold over the course of the summer. All right, then, so we're just about to get underway with season 4. Now, this season we're predicted to finish third behind City and Liverpool, two teams which are so overpowered. It's an achievement just to come above them. It really is, especially with the financial might of City. We were able to go big in the summer, though, thanks to a takeover. We brought in Jan Oblak. We brought in Florian Wirtz. We brought in, I think, Duran Timber came in. Did he come in this summer? Let me have a look. No, he came in last year. So, we've actually been able to go pretty decent over the course of the summer. Kenneth Taylor, was the other player that we were able to bring in. So we've had a really good summer. Fingers crossed we can actually go big this year and get a couple of trophies. We were trophies last year. Let's see how we get on, and I will bring you the update after season 4 right now. All right, then, season 4 is in the bag, and it's genuinely starting to look like this rebuild will see us be nearly men and peak with those first 2 seasons. Third in the league, semi-finals of the Champions League, semi-finals of the FA Cup. It doesn't, and we finished, I think it was third place in the cup, in the Club World Championship as well at the end of last season. The reason we've not looked at that is it's not really important. So, all in all, I mean, not a kind of great season. I mean, it's an average season, 78 points, but we're nearly 20 points behind Liverpool, who won the league. Defensively, we're actually a bit better this season. We're a lot better, should I say. You can see we are a lot better defensively here. Nearly half a goal fewer than the rest of the league. But offensively, we're not as good. So we finally started to fix our defensive issues, and then offensively we decide to go, I don't want to do that today. Really, really frustrating. Anyway, I'm going to look at where we need to improve. We've got 1 season left. 1 season to achieve our goals. Let's see if we can do it, and see how far we can take this rebuild. It's been all right so far. It could have been better. I do think the financial issues in seasons 2 and 3 have hampered us. We went big in season 4 though, and we got to the 2 semi-finals. Let's see if we can get another trophy in the bag before we finish, and go from there. But let's see how it goes. Anyway, let's see what we bring in this summer. All right, then. So our 5th and final season is about to get underway, and we have got a winnable start to the season. Norwich, Watford, Tottenham, Palace, teams that we haven't struggled against. But then we play Liverpool, and that's where it could disappear. But pre-season's been good. 4 games, no goals conceded, and a whopping 16 goals scored, which is really good. 2 7-0 wins again, that including one against Feyenoord. In terms of the players we brought in, we've again had a really busy summer. We've brought in Lautaro Martinez, Nicolo Barella, Gavi, Sandro Tonaloni, and we also have a deal out at the moment for Nuno Mendes to play left back for us. Looks a really good player. Luke Shaw coming towards the end of his career now, so we're looking to replace him for our last season. We're right on the eve of the first season, and it's going to be really interesting. We need trophies this year to make this rebuild a success, and with the new owners in charge at Old Trafford, they're going to want trophies as well. Let's see what we can deliver in the 5th and final season. Alright then, guys, it's time to round off this rebuild. Let's see how we did. We have turned Manchester United into title challenges. Now, while we have only delivered 1 Premier League and 1 FA Cup, which is a disappointment, we have turned them into regular challenges. Yes, we've spent money, but we're 3 points off Liverpool this season. Man City aren't even in Europe next year, which shows how much their drop-off has been. Quarterfinals of the Champions League, semi-finals of the FA Cup. We are there and thereabouts, and do you know what? I think if we did 2 or 3 more seasons with the current squad, we would turn them into real European powerhouses once again. But unfortunately, we do limit this to a 5-year rebuild. Let's have a look how the last season went then. If we go to the data hub, look at that. It is sensational. It's one of the things that I absolutely adore about this tactic, okay? The fact that attacking offensively, it is so good that it just delivers. Goals per game, 2.39. Your non-expected are up. Conceded per game is miles less than the league. Expected goals against is less. Our shots per game is nearly 5 shots per game higher, which is why we score so many goals. If we go over to the squad, let's look at who scored the goals. Marcus Rashford, 54 appearances, 46 goals. I think that is probably where we fell down a little bit this year. but the goals are spread around outside of Rashford. Vlahovic, 16, Martinez, 14, you got Wirtz, De Ligt, or Picano, both hitting double figures as well, and then assists-wise, they're spread around again. Fernandez, ever reliable throughout this rebuild, 16 assists. Nicolo Barella got 13, Gavi got 12, and Lautaro Martinez 9. So really, really happy with how that went. Yes, it could have gone better, but you know what? What I wanted to show was how good this tactic can be. As with all of the rebuilds we've ever done on this channel, we do simulate them, which means I don't sit here and play 5 seasons for one video. I simply don't have the time. But what I do is I build a squad to get the most out of it. And I think if I was managing this inside out and making changes and substitutions and little tweaks on the fly, we would have won the league probably every season. And that's just how good I think this tactic is, because it does just those little in-game tweaks that I think players see that maybe the AI doesn't, are key. So yeah, I mean, I hope you've really enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments who you'd like to see us do a rebuild with next, and I will be bringing you our first video in the Pep Guardiola Tactics series later this week. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you all soon. Remember, hit subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Catch you all later.